Happy Wednesday, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Pageant Sit Down. My name's Regina Lena, and I am so excited for all of you to join us today. We are at episode 52. The numbers are only going up from here, and I'm so excited, like I said, for all of you to join us. I'm also excited because we have a very special guest, straight off one of the hottest pageants there is right now. She is none other than USA National Miss Wisconsin 2021, Paige Kassner. Hi, Paige.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me.
You're so welcome. First off, blue looks amazing on you. You are just as gorgeous as you are in your photos. I'm so happy that you're here. We have some people already in the chat. So Sarah Edmonds is already here. She says, hi there, ladies. And I'm sure your mom is watching as well. Miss Illinois Galaxy. She's always watching. She's such a supportive mom.
Oh my gosh, absolutely.
Yeah, we'll get to her in a second. But there are some people who may not know who you are, Paige. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So again, my name is Paige Kassner. I am 23 years old. Grew up in a small town of Kewanee, Wisconsin, but I now reside within the Green Bay area. Last spring, I graduated from the University of Wisconsin with a bachelor's degree in community and nonprofit leadership and a certificate in digital studies. Currently, I'm a dance instructor at New Fusion Dance and Performing Arts, where I'm able to instruct and mentor girls from 6 years old all the way up until senior high school.
Wow, that is amazing. You know, I love that everything that you've done in your education and your work background kind of all goes back to pageantry.
Oh my God, yes. I know it's a little uncommon, but I originally, when I was applying to colleges my senior year of high school, I originally had a plan of going in with a communications major because my brother majored in it. I figured it was a great just starting point if I wanted to change my mind. But I am a seasoned keynote speaker. I love writing, reading, communicating, etc. Seemed like the perfect fit. But when I applied to the University of Wisconsin, they had me pick a primary major and a secondary major. So I'm sitting there, all right, not sure what I want for a primary major and how am I supposed to pick a secondary major? So I had to go through all of their lists, and I came across the School of Human Ecology, and under that section was community and nonprofit leadership. I fell in love with the description. It was my name written all over it. So I went with it, ran with it, all 4 years of college, absolutely had a blast. A lot of the coursework that I did was hands-on community work within the Madison, with well-known Madison area nonprofits. So a lot of hands-on experience that has only benefited me.
That's amazing. And I think, you know, having your background in pageantry, but also having that community service and leadership, I think that's amazing. You never really find a field where you can put your hobbies and interests and get paid for it.
And going into it, you know, a lot of times people ask, well, it's community and nonprofit leadership, how are you going to get paid? And to answer that question, I always tell people, you know, I realize that I am not making a salary of a doctor, a lawyer, etc. But I am able to see the outcome and the positive, I guess, benefits that are happening and being created by work hands-on. And that sometimes you see when you're sitting at a desk or doing work that you're not able to kind of see the positive outcomes from.
No, that's true. And I think, you know, what you're doing is great if you enjoy what you're doing. If you have that heart of service, then it doesn't matter, you know, and you have your family and friends who support you regardless. And you're also a dance teacher at the end of the day as well. Yeah. So, I mean, you put food on the table, that's all that matters. And you look great while doing it.
Thank you. It was a difficult time though, because as I mentioned, I graduated last spring, and of course, the start of quarantine and when COVID begun. And I didn't have my graduation ceremony. Being a dancer on the University of Wisconsin's Dance Elite Dance, I was looking forward to being able to close that chapter after I wanted to continue dance but it was difficult. All of us missed out on things. But upon graduation, CNPL, community nonprofit leadership in the nonprofit sector, is not one of the first jobs that are going to pop up once you graduate for those that have recently graduated. And ironically, I fell into teaching as a side job.
Nice. And
it was a great start to the summer. And I've found out that I absolutely loved it. And I am now 5 nights a week this upcoming September, and I'm really able to work with not only the very advanced girls, but also the little edges that could, but they also turn to little edges that did, with my mentorship and being able to work with them and just being able to see the progression of kids, that sometimes just need the extra attention and don't get that at the studio. I'm able to be that person for them, and it's amazing things that you see the outcomes and the impact that you are making firsthand. And I've absolutely loved it.
That's awesome. I think what you're doing is great. Honestly, you do have such a pure heart. I know we talked about you can see the similarities in the two of you, and that's just great. Going back to the people who are tuned in, so there's Donald Howard. He says, hello, Paige. And then Sherry Handicrafts, she's watching from the Philippines. So we have a few people from all over the world. We got America, Canada, the Philippines. If anyone has any questions for Paige, whether it be related to dance, whether it be related to community service or pageantry, make sure you leave a comment in the live chats, because I'd be more than happy to ask. So you just came right off stage a few weeks ago.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that pageant, what it was about, how your experience was.
Sure. Oh my goodness. I had such a blast, honestly. Funny story. 10 years ago, I competed for USA National Miss as a junior teen. And they were just getting the ball running with their organization and their national pageant. So I went in as the Miss Wisconsin teen title. I competed on a very small stage in Atlanta, Georgia, against maybe 15 girls. But during that week, I said there was something very special about this organization. And even though it was their very first year, I knew that Jackie had a passion for this organization. And I could foresee things expand. And here I was 10 years later as a Miss, where I had a state pageant, won my state pageant, went on to nationals, and here this is this absolutely huge stage. Almost, it reminds me of you Miss USA. And to see the progression of the pageant, it was just outstanding. But the national pageant, oh my goodness, I took in every moment that I could. It was a memorable experience. Not only was I lucky enough to walk away with second runner-up in their optional talent competition, which was submitted via video, but also their very first year of the cultural heritage competition. So that is almost to what they do for Miss Universe. Everyone representing, obviously it's an optional competition, but representing your heritage and being able to stuff on the stage. And what I was able to bring to this stage was supporting the oh my goodness, I can't even think. So my costume was really this big tulip, and the Netherlands. Sorry, my brain has been.
It's Wednesday. Don't worry.
But, supporting the Netherlands, and the costume was so extravagant. Thank you so much to my mom and her connections. But it was the most, honestly, extravagant and almost painful, but beauty is pain, costume that I've ever worn down a runway. But I felt so beautiful. There was this headpiece that almost replica of a tulip. And oh my goodness, such a beautiful costume. But I ended up walking away with I won the competition. And that was their very first year that they put that competition into place. So I am now in their almost Hall of Fame throughout the years of their winners from their junior and senior categories. But
That's
those are
true.
optional competitions. Back to the main pageant, there are 53 girls. That is a lot. And I was lucky enough and blessed to place in the top 15, which an outstanding achievement for that. So many, everyone is so smart, beautiful, talented. And for me to stand up on stage and wear Wisconsin across my chest, it was a wonderful moment.
That is amazing. Well, first off, you're right. You are in the Hall of Fame for both divisions. And top 15 is such a huge accomplishment, like you said, with 50 plus girls in the division. Girl, that's amazing. And okay, I know I keep saying how stunning you are, but your mom was sharing photos. I was creeping your social media. And I'm just there like, holy cow, that blue dress that you wore with your hair and how, oh my God.
Not going to lie, it's definitely my pageant investment of the year. Working hard at the studio, working at the boutique, I knew I wanted something different. And one of our creative designers that have gotten a lot of my wardrobe from, really outdid themselves, and I felt confident, so beautiful, honestly the most beautiful I've ever felt on stage.
You looked stunning. And like, I love how you do kind of this like old Hollywood style look a lot. And I'm just like, oh, if I could pull that off, I would too.
I always dare to be different, many times, and I know my mom would probably say the same thing. Getting up on the stage, obviously, I want to bring something to the table that's not only me, but something that's going to stand out and that's very unique. And oftentimes, that may not be everyone's cup of tea, but it's me. And I really care what their opinions are. A little different. It's not what they're thinking. But for me, to a T. So bless my mom. I had people commenting on my wardrobe, and it was always CI Image Consulting, all her. I completely trust her vision, and she has been one of the biggest advocates for not only me, but as being a mentor.
That is great. Well, actually, for those who don't know, your mom is Ms. Illinois Galaxy, and she was on the show, and she got a lot of questions about her short hair and competing in a pageant. And you also have not as short as hers, but you also do have short hair and you compete in pageants. What is that like for you in a different division than your mom's, competing with girls who usually put extensions in?
Absolutely love it. Not going to lie. If you would have asked me about 2 years ago, my hair was down to here. It was below my chest, and I was the girl that would go into the hair salon, and every time they would color my hair, it would always be the infamous question of, hey, are we doing a little chop today? Are we doing a little cut? And I always would say next time. And then next time would be next time, because I just wanted to grow out my hair, even though the ends were completely dead. And my sophomore year of high school was when this was before I grew my hair out again, but I chopped 7 inches off my hair. It was an auburn, and it got straight across bangs. It was a time.
We all go through that.
Actually, it was a little bit, I was a little bit scarred because I knew I just wanted to grow out my hair again.
Yeah.
And here I was, I think it was my senior year, fall of my senior year of college, where I apparently was going through a quarter life crisis, and I'm very impulsive, mind you, as well. So once my mind is triggered, I'm going to jump right on it. It's a pro and a con. But I, was sitting in my bed, and I was thinking to myself, it'll be fun if I chop my hair. So I'm texting my mom, and she was sending me, styles that would look cute with my facial features, and I went with it, and I only got it cut, I'd say, to my collarbone, and continue to chop it up just a little bit shorter, but this is the shortest I will go. But to answer your question, I absolutely love it. Everyone can pull off whatever hairstyle they feel the most comfortable in. But for me, there's so many girls, that wear extensions and this is my natural hair. And
Yeah.
it's not, you see so many brunettes, blondes with long, luscious hair. And again, it goes back to coming on stage and rocking what I've got and feeling comfortable with that. And I love being a little different.
Well, I think you killed it. Like I said, your old Hollywood glam would be totally different with longer hair. And, I think in the world of pageantry, I know back in the day, like 10 years ago, 5 years ago, it was all about the Victoria's Secret bombshell hair.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right, it is going to being yourself. And if you're confident in how you are and being confidently yourself, then who cares what length hair you have? I was just curious because that was a question that your mom, a lot of people were invested in her hair, and I was just like, okay, let's read them.
Yeah, I mean, it's something where I just feel the most confident and most comfortable, and I love feeling a little bit more unique. And that goes with my wardrobe too, as we were talking about before, where with my evening gown, we wanted to do a little bit more of a Hollywood glam.
Loved it.
But then for my fun fashion, so within USA National Miss, their areas of competition, I didn't even get to speak on that, was you do an interview with the judges, which is only 3 minutes. And I say only 3 minutes, unfortunately, because I love interview and there's so much to share about my life, where I have been used to having about, 6, 7, 10-minute interviews where you're really able to grasp the contestant in front of you and kind of really connect with them on a deeper level. But there is 3 minutes in your interview. It is a panel style interview. There's evening gown and then also fun fashion. And I have competed in different pageants where you do runways / casual wear, but I have not had that as a main area of competition. And that was a little bit new for me, even though I've been used to walking down a runway, but being able to bring something unique to the stage again, that is totally you. I've seen at the national pageant, I saw girls wearing, a 2-piece pantsuits, totally encrusted, the just full length dresses, cocktail dresses, anything that, again, you feel the most comfortable in. And I love that I was able to change my look for both of them. So from evening gown, it was more Hollywood glam, and my fun fashion, it was inspired, where it's very evil but very serious. So I was able to do a little bit of both, and I love that about competing at the national level.
I love that. Well, you also talked a little bit about, interview being 3 minutes long and not being able to share your story. Your mom did share a little bit about your story and your journey when she was on the show, and I don't know if you want to talk about that, but
no, absolutely, it's part of my platform. But when I was November 15th of 2014, I was 16. I was involved in a traumatic auto accident, so it nearly took my life. Was in the hospital for about 6 weeks, ended up fracturing my humerus, femur, crushed my entire pelvis, flatlined twice upon, my arrival to the hospital. And doctors told me that, they told my family to, prepare for the worst because I wasn't intended to make it. And I believe there's power in prayer by the grace of God, gifted surgeons, EMTs, all of the above. That is why I am blessed to be here today. And I am a firm believer that we're all put on this earth for a greater purpose. And that is why I am still here, to make a difference in others' lives. So I have cultivated throughout the years a lot of experience, giving back. I started my own nonprofit when I was a 5th grade. Warm Hearts over the years collected over 65,000 cold weather items. As a 6-year-old, I answered phones for the MDA telethon. So it's just been something, near and dear to my heart, giving back to my community. But my personal platform, Pages of Life, the acronym LIFE standing for Live It Fully Every Day. And the meaning behind my platform is to really inspire others and let them know that their life circumstances do not define them, because there is so much that has happened in my life. Others where sometimes we think that it's the central focus, all of those negative circumstances, they're the central focus of our entire life story. And each chapter, we have the power to really rewrite each chapter as they come. And it has been my mission to not only inspire people by sharing my own story of perseverance, because I was able to walk Andes again, as doctors told me I would not be able to, but really speak to large audiences, being keynote speakers for numerous organizations such as the Servant Leaders of Wisconsin, Women's Management of Wisconsin, sharing my story, but also speaking to them and asking them, at the end of the day, at the end of your life, your book of life, are your chapters going to be filled with? Are they going to be filled with pages that, mean everything, or those that don't really mean anything at all? So it not only falls under inspiring others, but also just speaking to adults and kids and teens about what they really want out of life and to really live their life to the fullest, because we really only get one at the end of the day.
Well, I think, your story was very touching, and I remember your mom telling me about it. I actually was like, oh, give me some fun tips or fun facts about you. And she sent me this whole essay, and a big chunk of it was about you and your brother. So when we were talking and she told me about your car accident and then told me that you were also in pageants, I was like, wait. So she was able to overcome all of this. You are a dance instructor. You are a pageant girl. You're doing all of these things. You're literally showing the world that you're not going to let anything stop you or limit you. And I think, like you said, there is a reason why you're still here with us. And we're still trying to figure that out. But I'm so glad that, you were able to survive and your family still has you here, because I cannot imagine what that must have been like, not only for yourself, but also for your family.
After I was released from the hospital, which was luckily on Christmas Eve, so I was able to spend Christmas with my family. But a week after that, my brother was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, which is a type of uncurable cancer, which of course, that was super hard for my family because we just endured my situation. And then my brother, and he was the type of cancer that he was diagnosed with is common in 60 plus individuals. And he was about 18 at the time. Oh. And he was healthy, running on a track scholarship in college. And honestly, it was scary, but there was a time where when I was sitting in my hospital bed, and my brother was, again, along with my mom and my other family, that they were the biggest supporters in my time of need. And that's when, even though I was still in my wheelchair at the time, that he was my light. Now it was my time to be his. And after multiple scans, etc., he was diagnosed with pediatric lymphoma, which was a type that whatever was removed in his original surgery was needed to keep him cancer free. So we are blessed every day that he is still with us too, and he's thriving in Chicago. But we always pray that nothing ever comes back. But it's again, a time where all of us really had to dig deep in our roots and our faith, and believe that there was, again, power in prayer, but also power in coming together as a family and really supporting one another.
I love that. Well, I'm glad that, both you and your brother are still here and healthy and thriving. And I'm sure your mom is that's probably why she talks about you guys so much.
Yeah.
I feel like I learned so much about you during her interviews. I'm like, do I even know your mom? No.
I know.
No, but I think it's, everything happens for a reason. And that interview brought you onto this show. So I'm just glad that it all worked out. So we are almost at the halfway point. This half hour just came out of nowhere.
I know.
It did. It really did. But there is a segment on this show page, just 5 tips from a beauty queen. And I know that you've been doing pageantry for a while now. So what would be your top pageant tips for anyone watching us today?
Sure. So I actually wrote them down in my little notebook here because I went back, and obviously this is a segment that's very important on your show. But my first tip is to be open and outward. I have learned this from one of the most iconic communications instructor and pageant mentor in history. His name was Don Baker. He passed away a few years ago, but I was so blessed to have the opportunity to have a consultation with him as I was the current Miss Green Bay Area's outstanding team at the time. And I was able to have a consultation with him where we were able to speak about what I wanted out of my pageant experience and how to go about my interview in the most beneficial way. And one of the biggest things that he tells all of his girls was to be open and outward. That goes in the interview room as well as on stage. But when in the interview room, you are treating that as a conversation. I know it's super cliche, but if you walk into an interview room and you already feel that the judges are above you, they're just like you. And it's a conversation. You know yourself better than anyone else. So when you walk into that interview room, you're not essentially he mentioned you're not thinking, because you're answering questions, whatever comes to your mind, whatever you're feeling in your heart, that is the most incredible answer because it is coming from your heart. And at the time, I think I put a roadblock in front of myself when I was competing for Miss Green Bay Area's outstanding teen, going on to Miss Wisconsin's outstanding teen, because that happened in my life that I wasn't ashamed of it. I felt afraid to share and open myself up. And after speaking with him and going through interviews, slowly opening myself up and making it a comfortable space for me, and realizing that interview was just to share my heart, I soared from there. So open and outward is key to not only soaring an interview, but also while you're on stage, being confident in your skin. I have scars all over my body from my accident on my arm, my stomach, my leg, but they're my badges of honor. And I am super confident whenever I get up on that stage and whenever I walk into that interview room, because I know what I have to offer. And for any girl that wants to do the same, take some time to reflect. Being open and outward comes from self-reflection and thinking about what have your moments in life taught you, and how are you using that to benefit others. So my next tip was actually shared at the national pageant by the reigning USA National Miss Ardell Dickerson. She let us know that obviously all of us are coming there to win. We all want to win. But a key to doing well during Nationals Week was to be prepared to lose. And I know I don't like that term losing, because at the end of the day, you're taking something away from the pageant experience that is going to make you a winner, walking away with a crown or not. But coming to terms that there's only going to be one winner at the end of pageant week is crucial, because it's out of the girls, you know, I competed with that USA National Miss, 53 girls. That's 1 in 53. Even if I'm at my 200% best, there's still a chance that I will not walk away with the title. Different set of judges, different day, different outcome. So going into pageant week and coming to terms and realizing and being prepared to not walk away with the title is only going to benefit you. My next tip is to create friends, but find your clique. And I know this may not make sense, and I'm not saying only talk to certain girls, but I have found myself benefiting during pageant week by obviously being social and creating relationships, but also finding the girls that are going to lift you up during pageant week, that are only going to bring out the best in you. And I'm not saying that some girls you're not going to be able to connect with, yada, 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 which to an extent is true, but I have found it most beneficial for me to find those girls. Don't hold on to things so tightly and don't take themselves so seriously, because at the end of the day, what are you going to be taking away? And again, in pageant land, you're going to deal with girls that are pageantzillas. You're going to deal with the girls that are super competitive. you're going to deal with all kinds of girls. And for me, maybe that's just me where I'm able to see through certain things differently in my perspective. But finding those girls has been key because I'm able to create those lasting friendships that I know are going to last a lifetime. And if you are one of those girls that is super competitive, that's okay. I understand. But I ask you, what are you going to be taking away from pageant week? The title is essentially. So secluding yourself during pageant week, that's okay if that is your choice. But for me, I feel it's not beneficial because at the end of the day, you're focusing on yourself. If you don't walk away with a title, there's nothing to take away from it other than that you didn't win. My next tip is to trust the journey, work hard in the process, and use your resources. So trust the journey, I know my mom has probably mentioned it multiple times. As I mentioned before, different outcomes with a different set of judges, but knowing that God has a plan for you is key because, again, we're all not going to walk away with the title, and it may not be your time. Going to nationals, I wanted to win so bad because I knew what I had to offer the organization. But once I didn't make top 6 after top 15, did I go sit in a corner and cry? No. And that also comes from, having a second chance on this earth and realizing that every day is a gift. So I don't take things so literally because I know that I have reached certain goals in the process, and I know that there are bigger things in store for me. I know that in my heart. But also using your resources at the same time while you're working hard is crucial because, again, you want to be 200% prepared for your pageant. So that way, at the end of the day, you know that you did everything in your power that you possibly could to do your absolute best. And then at the end of the day, it's in the judges' hands. But using your resources is key. I found out that way when I was I think I was a sophomore in college. It took me 5 times to win a local title to move on to the Miss Wisconsin pageant within the Miss America organization. During that time, I was very independent, and that is okay. I learned so much in the process. But at the same time, while I was being very independent, I did not use my resources. I had people asking me if they wanted to do interviews, asking me if I needed critiques on X, Y, and Z. I had my mom, who is a pageant mentor, in my pocket, and I wanted to do things my way. And again, that is okay. But, I learned so much from that experience. But there is so many people that would that wanted to help me. And I felt that being independent was the best way. So that's why I say use your resources, because it never hurts. It never hurts to have an extra ear when you're doing a mock interview. It to have an extra set of eyes when you're practicing your evening gown or your talent or whatever stage performance you're practicing. So using your resources and trusting the journey is key. My last tip is to be invested in the organization that you choose, and kind of ask yourself why you truly would want that title that you are striving to earn. I know for me, USA National Miss was a complete fit because what they stand for, they're not only a faith, they're based in their faith, but they want to inspire girls to do their absolute best and go after their goals. And also, they still have that glam factor in it too. So you're able to have fun, be yourself, and bring that to this stage. But at the core of everything, when everything is ripped away, said and done, Jackie and her entire organization stands for so much more than just the crown. And I knew that the national platform at the time had my name all over it and connected and aligned so much with my values. The Crown Cares, which is an anti-bullying initiative. And after my accident, I ironically found myself at the center of bullying. And through my platform, Pages of Life, being able to keynote speak, and kids, but all adults, because I truly feel that it all starts and stems from the top. But also, their national platform has been switching over to now Inspire, which is inspiring young girls to make a difference in their community, their environment, or anything of their choosing. So it really gives girls the opportunity to focus on their platforms and what they're most passionate about. So for me, competing at USA National Miss was a complete fit because it aligned with everything that I was passionate about. And winning that title would mean so much more than just the crown, but being able to do the things that I already have as a state title holder or just a girl without a crown, just on a national level. But that's why I say find an organization that you're really passionate about, because not only is it going to, again, benefit you in the process while you're competing, but also your heart's really going to shine when you are truly dedicated to the organization. And before I wrap that point up, I just would like to say, though, that if you do end up walking away with that title and you are passionate about that organization, please, please, please stay invested in that organization. I see so many girls that compete for pageants and they win their title. They go off to nationals. They don't place, they don't X, Y, and Z. And they give up that title because they would like to compete for another organization or something better has come along. For me, I am someone that if that title is given to me, that crown is placed on my head, there are so many girls that want that opportunity that you are blessed to have. So please stay invested in the organization that you choose. Do your full year as the title holder, then move on to the next, because it means so much to the organization that you are truly committed and passionate about what they have to offer.
No, and those are great tips, especially when actually all of them are amazing. But you're right, there are a lot of girls who, especially with the pandemic, where they see all these virtual opportunities. But you're right. You did hit every single tip off the head, if that even makes any sense. But no, they were great tips. And so, Paige, if people wanted to find more about you, they wanted to follow your journey, where can they follow you?
Sure. So as of right now, my personal Instagram is my first and last name, Paige Kassner, Paige Kassner, where it also will connect you with my pageant page as a title holder, which I believe is UNM_Wisconsin_Miss, I believe. And also connects you to my own personal dance endeavors, which is known as Ultimate Expressions, which is a dance community that I've created not only for my services for choreography, but also mentorship and inspiration, because me dancing, again, really inspired me, again, to let others know that even if it's more than just dance, it comes from the heart. At the end of the day, we all are going to leave inspired, and it's more than that. So they can follow that page if they're interested. Obviously, I am an instructor at New Fusion Dance and Performing Arts. So it kind of coincides with both of my dance communities that I've created, but also the girls within the studio. So whether it's pageantry, daily life, fashion tips, etc., you can find it all from my personal page, which is at Paige Kassner. And if you are interested in getting some mentorship or pageant coaching, fashion tips, consulting advice about anything and everything pageant related, you can also find my mom. Of course, she was on the show already, but CA Image Consulting, which has been all of my wardrobe, all of my coaching, basically everything under the sun.
I love that. Well, most of the links are in the description, so I'll be sure to update that at the end. So make sure you follow Paige on her journey, because it's just getting started. So you mentioned a little bit about your mom being your consultant and your pageant mentor. How is that? Because I know sometimes you have you see on TV like Toddlers and Tiaras, and you have the state moms or you have the dance moms, and they're very passionate. what has it been like with your mom? Because she's kind of a dance and a pageant mom.
Yes. So I started competing in pageants when I was 6 years old. And even though I say that, I do not mean that I have competed in pageants 3 times a year, 6 years old, up until 20 years old. It hasn't been something that's somewhat of a hobby to me. You know, it's been sprinkled in here and there whenever I felt it was the right time. But she has been my pageant coach ever since I was a little one. Obviously, when I started to grow a little bit older, I distanced myself from her mentorship and coaching to be more independent. This year, especially going into USA National Miss, I wanted all hands on deck. So whether that be mock interviews from her style tips and basically wardrobe approval, she would be sending, I told her, you know, I'm ready, like I want this and I want your help. So that comes with a little bit of both of your pros and cons. But it's been so beneficial, and I feel it's only really strengthened our relationship as a mother and daughter, because it's something that we're both passionate about, and we both reap the benefits at the same time. So I've only enjoyed it, whether it's mock interviews from her, but also her fiance, Don. He's incredible and has been her right-hand man, and she is so lucky. We are so lucky to have him in life, because he has also been the one to do some mock interviews with me too, again, having the second set of eyes and ears. But I've enjoyed every moment. You know, sometimes we both are a little bit similar in some ways, so we can butt heads at times when it gets a little stressful, but we know when to reel it in. And at the end of the day, she is my mom, and I love her for being able to give up the time to really assist me in all of the things that I want to do.
I love that. I love the bond that the two of you have. My mom is a makeup artist, so I totally get where you get that connection and bond, especially for photo shoots, or pageants, or being on stage. I love when, you know, like your mom ends up doing something that you also benefit from. It all works out.
You know, when, even if it's not pageant related, she was cleaning out her closet the other day. I think probably about a month ago, actually, not the other day, but she was getting rid of some clothes, and she asked me if I wanted any, and of course, that's basically, I told her it was like Christmas in a garbage bag. Like, there you go. I had, you know, we fit into the same clothes. Shoes though, not so much. Clothes though, I'm totally okay with grabbing things from her closet, and that is a blessing. It does save money.
No, for sure. She spends it all. That's amazing. Well, there's actually a question here that's been waiting, but we've been talking so much. So Donald Howard asks, do you feel that your passion for service fits with the Miss USA organization's passion and purpose?
Absolutely. I truly do feel that it does, because it makes up who I am. And you see girls that are winning at Miss USA and their local titles, they're all so different from one another, but they all share a commonality, and that is their heart and their hearts for their communities, whether that be in nursing. For me, that's volunteering and being a dance instructor, but at the end of the day, they are passionate about making a difference in their community, and I'm doing that every single day, with or without a crown on my head. So I really do believe that it aligns.
That's amazing. Well, I do like to ask people, or my guest, a specific question, which is, if it wasn't for your current title or the current pageant that you just competed in, what would be your dream title to have?
Oh gosh, honestly, Miss America or Miss USA. As a young lady who did compete at Miss Wisconsin, to have the chance at going to Miss America, that has always been a dream of mine. Also because they have the talent portion, and being so involved in their teen program leading up to a Miss. Obviously, there's a lot of differences and changes that have been made, but I still think that would be a dream title. And also Miss USA. I mean, they're both different, but they both are the same. They are the Super Bowls of pageantry. So who wouldn't want to represent the nation and also potentially the world if you would win Miss USA?
For sure. Well, okay, here's a question for you, because you mentioned Miss America and Miss USA. So someone like me from Canada, or someone like Cheryl who's in the Philippines, what is the difference?
As the Miss America and Miss USA?
Yeah, what's the difference between the two?
Oh, sure. So, oh gosh, honestly, the biggest difference before the Miss America program made all of the changes was, I think, the talent portion, where at Miss America, before Miss America 1.0, your score was based from, a large portion of it was your talent, and a large portion was your interview. There also obviously was swimsuit, evening gown, and your on-stage question. So very similar to Miss USA. So Miss USA, on the other hand, has all of those competitions, but they don't have the talent portion. Now, with the Miss America 2.0, was the year that I competed for Miss Wisconsin, was right before the state pageant came out with the changes. When everything was going up in flames and we didn't know the future of Miss America. But right now, I'm still understanding the changes that are going through. But right now, the Miss America program is pushing more towards being able to hear each candidate's passions and their platforms, because, you know, when you watch on TV, you don't really necessarily hear what each candidate's platforms are, and you only see what you see. You don't get to experience what they're saying in their interview, other than an onstage question that you're supposed to answer in 30 seconds. So at the same time, you know, they have made those changes, and I see the benefits of that, and it's been an incredible push to really hear the voices of the young ladies, but they also get to experience, you know, being able to showcase what they have to say on stage. So I think that's the biggest difference, is the talent portion now. Or it always has been the talent portion, but with the changes, it's a little different. So I'm still learning. My mom and I went to watch the Miss Wisconsin pageant, and it was absolutely lovely. But, you know, it's a little hard to, you know, get adjusted to, because it's hard sometimes. I do believe in the organization and its mission and where they would like to take it. You never know, honestly, where it's going to lead now with 2.0. But Miss USA has always stayed the same. So
no problem. No, you know, sometimes people hear, oh, Miss America. Oh, wait, there's Miss USA. What's the difference? I knew the difference, but I mean, there's some people who may be new to pageantry.
Oh, it's okay. I have yet to, because we never ended up getting to that, but my boyfriend, I was trying to introduce him to, obviously, having a girlfriend who's in pageantry is very new, because there's so many different organizations that stand for so many different things and have different categories and competitions to attain that title. But of course, at the top, I was trying to explain is there's kind of like a pyramid, and at the top you have the two Super Bowls of pageantry, Miss America, Miss USA, and then you slowly branch off to other organizations. So there's not just one Miss Wisconsin, one Miss Canada, you know. There's so much that goes into it, so I totally understand. It's a bit confusing. Plus it's hard for really trying to understand.
Sometimes you just have to say you'll learn along the way.
Yes, absolutely.
That's all it is. It's you learn the basics now, but then you learn the rest as I go on this journey, and you just gotta support me.
Yes.
I love that. Actually, it was your mom who was leaving the comments. She says, "Hi Paige, it's Mom. I love you." Oh.
I know. She said she was getting her hair done, but she would be watching from there potentially.
We were just talking about her hair. I love that. Well, you know, it is starting to get to the end of the show, but I know we've talked a lot about you and your mom and your journey together. When your mom was on the show, she talked a lot about you, your brother, and your journey together. And I love to see that your mom is getting her hair done, but she's still tuned in. But you mentioned that at the age of 6, your mom was your pageant mentor, but now things have kind of flipped, and now she's making her way onto the pageant stage herself.
Mm-hmm.
What is that like for you?
Oh my gosh, I support it 100%. You know, when she's always been a pageant mentor, kind of in the background. But it wasn't until the start, as she probably mentioned during her interview, it wasn't until the start of quarantine and COVID that she really was able to hit the ground running with her own, pageant clientele and her pageant endeavors. Mm-hmm. And of course, it also struck into her mind that if I am going to walk the walk, or if I'm going to walk the walk, I need to talk the talk too. And she is now Ms. Illinois Galaxy and will be competing, I believe, now next year. And I think that's awesome. I support it 100% because these girls that she is mentoring, they can look up and up to her and see that she has done it herself, even though she is incredibly knowledgeable and knows what she's talking about in all areas of pageantry. But being able to see her on that stage, I know that I am so excited. It stinks that they had to postpone it another year, because I know she is engaged now, so she's waiting on the wedding too. But at the same time, I'm so excited to see her compete because I know what she brings to pageantry as a coach and a mentor. And half the time when she's interviewing me and giving me critiques, I'm just like, can you walk in that interview room for me? Because gosh darn it, you are incredible with words. And that goes with her too. But I know that once she hits that stage,
she's never getting off.
There's no competitor that I feel is more deserving than my mom. I know I'm very partial, but I know she is going to hit the ground running once pageant week happens, and I'm going to be there right by her because I support her 100%, and I'm so excited to see her in the pageant atmosphere herself.
Me too. Well, okay, so I don't know if you know this, but I'm in her division, so I'm Ms. Galaxy Canada. And so when I first met your mom, I was like, oh man, I'm scared. Like she's gonna kill it. But you just mentioned, your mom's engaged, so am I. Like we were talking about how similar we were. She's engaged, so am I, but I'm getting married right before internationals, so I'm moving up a division. I was like, oh thank God, I don't have to compete against your mom.
But I am so excited because she's been the one that's always, in the audience and cheering me on.
Yes.
But now the roles are going to be reversed, and I couldn't be more excited.
Well, I can't wait either. I mean, the Ms. division for Galaxy, there's so many incredible women that are competing, and like I said, every time there was a new person in the Ms. division being announced, I was freaking out on the inside. And then when Maria postponed it again, I was like, oh thank God, I am in a different division. Like, it's a hard division. I mean, the Mrs. division
that's another pageant tip though. Don't compare yourself to anyone else. I know they talked about that at UNM too, but we all do it. It happens, but not letting it get the best of us is
all I'm saying is I'm glad I'm not competing against your mom.
But everyone feels, we talked about that at UNM too, that once you compare yourself, whatever you are thinking about someone else, they're probably thinking about you too, or another contestant. So it's this big crazy circle of mental craziness. But once we get a reel in on it, we're okay, and we can do our best. So
oh my God, for sure. I'm sure your mom's sitting there getting her hair done laughing. She's probably like, what are they talking about? No, I love it. But no, you're right. It is true. Don't compare yourself to other people. Go in there as yourself. I mean, I always say like, oh my God, I look at these girls and it's intimidating, but you're right. Don't compare yourself to them. And you said it earlier, there's only one person who's destined for the title. So whoever it may be, it's a great pageant system. So they have a lot of shoes to fill, especially with these reigning queens who have had their reign for 2 years going into 3.
Mm-hmm. And you know, life goes on, and that's one thing that I always remind myself. Again, like I mentioned before, it may go for others than me to think that way because of what's happened in my life, where I view things in a completely different perspective. But at the end of the day, I know that life goes on. It's more than just pageantry. I have a home to come home to. I have my cat that makes me happy. I have a family. You know, I have kids at the dance studio that literally are the lights of my life whenever I get to go to the studio, and I love going to work. So, you know, it's more than that title at the end of the day, and I'm happy that I can compete, do my best, and at the end of the day, you know, not get stressed over it, because again, there's always a plan.
Exactly. Well, you know, Paige, it was great getting to know you, hearing your story, hearing how powerful your story is. You know, you never gave up. You definitely went through something not all I can't speak anymore. Not all of us go through in our lifetime, and you know, you truly you have a heart of gold, a heart of service. You are definitely here for a reason, and you know, just keep doing what you're doing, whichever pageant you move forward to, whether it be Miss USA, Miss America, whatever it might be. Just continue being you, continue thriving, surviving, and loving life, because you're such a ray of sunshine. I love it.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I really do.
You're so welcome. Well, we are at the end of our show. Paige, if there's any last words you'd like to share with our viewers, now's the time.
Sure. As mentioned before, if you are interested in following my journey, there is my title page, which is connected to my personal Instagram, Paige Kassner. Also, if you are a young lady who is looking for choreography, if they are a dancer, gymnast, I've done it all. I'm very passionate about not only the girls at the studio, but girls in pageantry as well. So if you're interested, you can find that on my personal Instagram as well, Ultimate Expressions. Thank you so much for having me, and anyone that has tuned in. With my platform, Pages of Life, live it fully every day. You know, my motto is we're all put on this earth for a greater purpose, and to really, truly live your life to the fullest every day. Ask yourself what you are grateful for. Think of these positive things in your life that make it worthwhile, because at the end of the day, we don't know what tomorrow has in store. So truly feel grateful and blessed to be alive and on this earth every single day.
Well, that is definitely a great place to end the show. Again, the links for Paige's social media handles will be in the description. There are already 2 there, so feel free to follow her journey, because like she said, she just got started. Again, Paige, thank you so much for joining us. And to all of you who are watching, make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. If you enjoy pageantry, like I said at the top, we're 52 episodes in and only going up from here. So be sure to subscribe to this channel as we go live every Monday and Wednesday. Paige, again, thank you so much for joining us this evening. I can't wait to meet you, since I now know that you'll be at internationals next year. We'll both cheer your mom on together. I can't wait to meet you and continue to stalk your Instagram, because, girl, you're stunning.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. Again, it's something awesome, and I'm doing in the pageant circuit to really just bring girls together and share a little bit about themselves, because again, it's more than just the crumb. So thank you.
Exactly. Well, thank you for that. Again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for spending the time with us tonight. Your mom, if you're getting your hair done, can't wait to see what it looks like. But we will all see you guys on Monday. Have yourself a great evening. Bye.